year. Modern attire is more simple and conservative in color with a slimmer physique than any other type of attire. A regular type of man's tie is worn. Traditional attire is a top hat or silk hat, a long, dark navy jacket, stock tie with canary of beige jodhpurs underneath. Period dress requires research into the proper time frame and the rider dresses accordingly, however the tack must also match the time frame. Regency and Victorian outfits are the most suitable. However, colonial, Elizabethan and Regency habits are also suitable. Fancy is considered to be more of a costume type and is not allowed for academic testing. No hunting attire is allowed. Top hats are allowed for mature riders. Derby and soft hats are also allowed for adults only. Children must wear helmets. All of these helmets and hats may contrast with the coat. The rider must wear stretchy jodhpurs and short padded boots. Jodhpurs can range in color but should be conservative colored, such as black, beige, blue, gray or brown. Jodhpurs may contrast with the jacket, but should match. Boots must be conservative and dark. A shirt with a collar is needed for level I and II. It should be worn with a typical man's tie. The shirt may be printed, must appear light in color. This tie should contrast. In levels 3 and 4, the rider should dress formal. The white tuxedo shirt is only required for level 4, but it may also be worn in level 3. It must be worn with a bow tie. A vest is allowed for the day coat, and it should match, but contrast colors are allowed. Vest may have 1 or 2 buttons. All monograms and logos are prohibited. Day coats should be conservative and of traditional color in the first 2 levels of English pleasure. Levels 3 and 4 considered to be formal. Level 3 may choose to wear the tuxedo or the day coat. Subtle patterns in tweed, melton, houndstooth, jacquard, pinstripe, stripes and plaid jackets are allowed. Loud colors and shiny or decorative material are not allowed as they are more suited for the park or parade horse and rider. The formal coat, or tuxedo, should be worn with a cummerbund and not a vest. The tuxedo coat needs a white boutonniere on the left lapel. One more thing to mention is that light-colored coats are allowed but only in the warm season. This will change upon where you live. Light-colored coats are allowed throughout the academic testing year. Coats may have 1 to 3 buttons. Any rider may choose to ride concours d'elegance. This means that the rider chooses to wear an elegant riding habit and can ride astride or aside. The riding habit can be traditional or period. If period is worn, it must match throughout all of the tack and attire. Research will need to be done in picking out the tack and attire for the English horse. The rider must wear breeches or jodhpurs underneath the skirt, divided skirt or apron. The apron may be longer than a hunting apron, but it must not cover the left foot. The rider may wear a black hat, either a 4.5-inch top hat and optional veil, or a large brimmed hat, but a helmet is suggested and may be worn without penalty. No hat guards are allowed. The general rule of thumb for aside riders is that the rider may wear everything from the waist up, the same as previously mentioned. Ruffled collars, stock ties, cuffs and scarves are allowed. Riders may choose to wear a vest. The riding habit needs a stock tie with a decorative brooch or pin. The riding habit is made of the same types of materials and colors as the day coat as previously mentioned, but may be a little bit livelier in appearance, however the lining must match. The breeches need to be the same color. A flower or a brooch is allowed on the left lapel. Small jewelry is allowed. The hair must be kept up and must never touch the collar. It should be in the hair net as well. Gloves are required for all levels. The day coat requires conservative colored gloves. Darker colors and colors that match the coat help hide hand movement. The most common is brown. The formal tuxedo coat requires white gloves. If a side saddle rider wants a pair of ring gloves, which can be white, canary or buff color, must be carried with the fingers forward on the offside, or right side, under the billets and in front of the saddle flap with the thumbs upward. Please note, Riding on a hot day may warrant a need to ride without a jacket. Shirts must have short or long sleeves, and be tucked in neatly. English pleasure and saddle pleasure riders opting to ride without jackets must wear a vest and tie. Formal riders in tuxedos must still wear the cummerbund but do not have to wear the jacket. For those in cold climates, you may wear insulated jackets. Please note that for the Class ES 488 saddle pleasure, everything is virtually the same, except the gaits are simply walk, trot and canter. Also, there is more emphasis placed upon the horse's manners, where he should seem to be at pleasure in the saddle. The saddle pleasure horse must not be speedy or have extreme motion. There must be no resistance. He may not be as fancy as the English pleasure horse, but he should be obedient, alert and responsive to move freely. Horse turnout. The mane and tail must only be brushed, and nothing else done to the mane or tail is allowed. Hooves may be painted with black or clear polish. Quarter marks are allowed. Any color of polo wraps or boots may be used. Saddles can be dressage, cutback or side saddle. They may have a tree, or be treeless, colored black or brown, and can be made of leather or synthetic materials. All tack must fit properly. Fancier bridles are allowed. Saddle pads are usually not used, but you may choose to use a small shaped pad, colored black or brown, the color is the saddle. In levels 1, 2 and 3, all horses can use a simple bridle. Reins must not have loops or inserts except for para-equestrians. Bridles cannot be padded. The only quiescent type allowed is the nosy band, which needs about 2 fingers width of space. A full bridle, also called a double bridle, may be used, but only for horses 6 years and older in levels 3 as an option, but mandatory in level 4, but not 1 or 2 because levels 1 and 2 are considered for young, green horses and levels 3 and 4 are considered for older, mature horses. Bits must be smooth all over with no rough spots or rust. Made of metal or rigid plastic, but not rubber. May contain copper inlay. Must not be wrapped, be made of chain, wire or twisted wire. Inside of the bit rings must measure 3.5 to 10.16 centimeters. Diameter of the mouthpiece should be about 8 to 20 millimeter. Mouthpiece may be curved to allow tongue relief, but no more 40 millimeters high. Legal mouthpieces, jointed, French link, Mullen, straight, rotating mouthpiece, rotary mouthpiece, double joint rotary, double joint lozenge, rotating middle piece, egg butt, swivel joint, pinchless, low port, medium port, Waterford, multiple joints, rollers, cherry rollers, ball, fishback, corkscrew, half moon, double jointed with rollers, double jointed with roller, Dr. Bristol, slow twist and fast twist. Legal cheek pieces are a bit more limited. They are the large ring, egg butt, D-ring, regular Kimberic, Exeter Kimberic, Pelham or Rugby Pelham, of which each use 2 sets of reins. Curb straps may be used but must be at least 15 millimeters wide and flat. Chain is allowed. Lip straps, which go on the small hole of the shank, are allowed. For the full bridle, the bridegroom choices are the jointed mouth, French link with the lozenge, rounded mouthpiece, rotary mouthpiece and hanging cheek, or Borsche. The curb bit choice for the full bridle are the half moon, low port or wide port, Cambridge, which is solid, and Weymouth, which is a moving slip cheek. S-curved shanks are allowed on any curb bit. Mouthpieces with donuts, cathedral ports, prongs, stock bits or bits with sharp edges or any other seemingly painful mouthpiece are prohibited from any English performance evaluation. You may choose the best mouthpiece and cheek piece combination that is best suited to your horse for the International Riding Academy English Performances evaluations. There is great detail about bits and bridles, their functions and why they should be used in the Rider 1 course called Tack. Forbidden equipment are whips, blinkers, forage earths, bucking straps, bit guards, nose guards, breastplates, breast collars, martingales, crappers, two-way communication devices. The rider must not be fastened to the horse in any way, except for para-riders. For help on setting up the arena, see the Almanac video tutorial.